Welcome back, you beautiful people, to another lesson on Advanced Excel. And today we are going to be looking at using VLOOKUP formula with true. Now, what do I mean by true? Now, if we go back to the previous sheet, the last exercise we did in the previous lesson, and you remember how we put in our VLOOKUP formula. So for the lookup value, we used the employee ID, okay, and the table array, we selected the table like this and we locked it by pressing F4 once, okay. And the column index number, because we were looking for the name, we selected column 2, okay. So now this is what I was getting to, the range lookup. Now I mentioned that because we had unique the what we're looking up, the data we're looking up were unique, we should select false. Now I'm going to be talking about when we should use true, okay. So now let me just go back to sheet 2. Now if you look at the table we have here, we have we are looking for what sales amount qualifies for a particular sales commission percentage. So on the first row you have sales is greater than or equal to 0, sales is less than 25,001. So what that actually is sales from 0 to all the way to 25,000.99. Okay, let me expand that. Okay, and below it we have sales is greater than or equal to 25,001 and less than 50,001. So what that is sales from 25,001 all the way just below 50,001. So that is 50,000.99. Okay, and let me just drag and drop this, and no, that didn't work, so I'll just fill it in manually. And on the third one we have sales from 50,001. Okay, now it works. So I'll just, yeah, then the last part we have 200,001 and above. Okay, I'm just checking that everything here is correct. This should be 150,000. Okay. Okay. So everything here is correct. This is how the ranges is talking about. Okay. And what this actually means, if you think about it, is that you can just take your sales amount, like a sales amount like 50,001, then start from the top, and you start here and you look at 0. Is 50,001 greater than 0? And is it greater than 25,001? Okay. So I can move downwards. Is it greater than 25,001? It is. Okay, so I can move here. So but it is not greater than 100,001. 50,001 is not greater than 100,001. So it's going to fall in this row, right? So it should get a 1.5%. And I'm just going to show you that. Let me fill in the VLOOKUP formula. And when I'm going to put in sales amount for lookup, let me put in table array. Remember to always lock your table array. Okay. Then column index number. Since we are looking for sales commission percentage, it is 3. And this time for my range lookup, I'm just going to use true, the approximate match. Okay. And when I press enter, you see it gives me 1.5%. Okay. Now let me change my sales amount to 55,000. And it still gives me 1.5%. It is because 55,000 falls between 50,001 and 100,000 and 100,000.99. Okay, so because it is not equal to this, I can't move one step lower, so it's going to fall here. So you can just think about it that you start from the top, keep moving down, and it stops when it is not equal to this one, so you just stay here. Okay, then one other when using VLOOKUP with true, when using VLOOKUP for slab, this kind of array is called a slab array that implies ranges. Okay, when using VLOOKUP with slabs, it is important that they are arranged in ascending order, otherwise your VLOOKUP formula will not work. Okay, so let's move on to case 2. Now in case 2 we have different entry fees for different age ranges. So these are different entry fees. Then anybody between 0 and less than 10, anybody between the ages of 0 to less than 10 would qualify for entry fees of 10 rupees. Then anybody between 10 equal to 10 and less than 30, that's everybody from 10 to 29.99, will qualify for 24, and like that. Okay, so now let's fill in our VLOOKUP formula for this. And what we are looking up is the age. Okay, our table array, just going to select it. Remember to lock it, always lock your table arrays for VLOOKUP. Your column index number, we are looking for entry fees, so it is 1 to 2, and we can just put true, and you can see it gives me 24 because this person age 24 is greater than 10 but is less than 30, so it remains here and has to pay 24 rupees. Okay, so let me change this. Let me say 32. I can see it gives me 48 this time because it falls here because it is greater than 30 and less than 50. Okay, now let's move on to the last case, and I'll just press this button here to show the case 3 grouping. Okay, now we have different grades for the signified level of impurities in iron ore. Okay, so if the impurities fall between 0% and less than 0.25%, it will get a grading of A1. If it is greater than or equal to 0.25 but less than 0.5, it gets A2, and so on. So let me just put in formula. What are we looking up? We're looking up the percentage of impurities. Table array, remember to lock it, F4. Column index number of the grade, 1, 2, number 2. Range lookup is an approximate match. I can see it gives us A2 because 0.27% is greater than 0.25 but less than 0.5. So it gives us A2. Let me change this. .67. Now it gives us A3 because 0.67 is greater than 0.5 but less than 0.75. Okay, so please do practice this, and if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'll see you in the next lesson where we'll be diving deeper into VLOOKUP.